Welcome back to Big CO Podcast by yours truly, Big COZ, aka your bestie. I'm so grateful, I'm so joyful and excited to be back with you for the fifth episode. You all are what's keeping me going. You are what's keeping me feeling like there's a hope for my podcast. And I'm so grateful that you're here back with me again to listen to this episode on Hold Your Peace. Today I want to talk about this. Something that really may sound so simple, but it actually can be one of the hardest things to practice. Holding your peace. Now, holding your peace isn't just saying, I'm going to just be quiet. I'm not going to say anything. I'm never going to respond, but it is about restraint. It's about having self-control. It's about rewiring your own mind and your thought life. It's about choosing your response, not reacting, and about creating space for clarity, especially to be able to hear from God. Because I believe that the world that we live in today, if only we could slow down just enough to be able to hear from God. We have so much in our minds that we cannot hear from God. And I believe we will be a different spirit. There would be a different spirit between us if we were connected to something bigger than ourselves. So many people are out here connecting to nothing, nobody, or anything of any value, of any substance, and going nowhere fast. You see, sometimes we talk so much online with friends, in arguments, disagreements. There's people that are, 18 plus and still, or 30 plus and still uncomfortable with having disagreements. We can't communicate because we're so busy communicating that we don't understand with communication you need comprehension. Or even in our own head that we forget how powerful silence, be where your feet are. Quiet everything down. Turn everything off. Slow down. Go for a walk. Get out. Stop being on your phone all the time. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry. But either way it goes, talk is cheap. And when it comes to faith and actually going after this dream life that you toss and turn about, that you speak about, that you create, write notes over and over about, and it just never seems to come to pass. But if our minds are noisy, we can't create, we can't become, we can't do, because we're so consumed with something that's over with. Most of the time we're consumed with either something that's either over with or not even yet to come. We're so far ahead in the future, or we're so behind, in our past. But you need to, hey, this is a simple truth. Stop time traveling, dude. Like, we're in 2026, but we haven't gotten there yet. And I feel like that's what you need to hear. Stop time traveling. Stop ruminating. Stop worrying. And it sounds easier than like we always say, it sounds easy, but easier said than done. I'm here to tell you today that I've lived I don't know how it's going to work out, but just somehow it did. Somehow God just worked it out. Somehow it just all fell into place. Somehow my sickness, my illness, whatever it was, just went away. The disease, whatever, just went away. They went and tried to find your cancer and it wasn't there anymore. That's how real our God is. Even though there is a battle going on for your very soul, you've got to learn how to fight back. That's the problem with I'm not trying to go way back into like period, I was going to say periodic times. That's odd. I mean like prehistoric. I'm not trying to go way back then, but there's some things wrong in our generation, like in our previous generation. Like, we don't know how to fight back, but our ancestors did. Let me say that. Our ancestors did. Eventually they just got sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I feel like all of us in 2026 are sick and tired of being sick and tired. And, talk is cheap, but your actions have to start speaking and being louder than, your words now. It's that time in your life. Well, you can't keep dreaming about it. You can't keep talking about it. You can't even keep writing about it unless you're trying to write a book or monologue or script or something. Don't keep writing those things over and over. Go out there and actually do something to back that up, to make it happen. Because we all started with one. We all started with one listener, one subscriber, one follower. Don't let these people get you all knocked up in your head thinking that everything just came to them in a silver platter and one day they woke up as a self-made billionaire. Yeah, they probably did wake up as a self-made billionaire one day, but after a lot of hard work. But like I said, if we're so consumed in our own minds and we're full of fear, doubt, anxiety, the opinions of others, politics, we might as well completely miss. We will actually completely miss. It's not even we might as well. We will completely miss what God is really trying to say to us today. Because we're so caught up in yesterday and in 3 weeks ago and last week and that email and that text and that person that doesn't want to be with you anymore. Like, what? Like, I hate to say this. I dislike to say this. Really. But we're going to die one day. The hard truth is we're going to die one day. But what are we going to do with that time between now and then? Like this breath and the next one into the last one. I want to do something with my life. I don't want to just sit on the sidelines. And I'm hoping that my listener doesn't want to just sit on the sidelines and just let life just sit down and lay down on the field and just let life happen to you. No, you got to get up. You got to stand up. Them people that abused you, manipulated you, whatever. You got to prove them all wrong. That they didn't know who they was messing with. They didn't know what was in you. But really, they probably did, and they was trying to just demolish it. Oftentimes, people that abuse us, that manipulate us, that downsize us, that, whatever, it ain't good, it ain't of God, they most of the time have something deep inside of them, and they feel intimidated by you. But the only person that you're about to be in competition with is yourself. And the reason why I say that is because it's too comparison. If comparison is the thief of all joy, because I know someone might hear me say that and they're like, "Oh well, you got to compete with other people." No, you don't. Because who's running your race of life? You. So if you don't outdo you from yesterday, even physically, let's just say you never worked out again, you never went for a walk again, you never ate any vegetables, fruits, you never drank water, you never. You know what? You're going to fall apart. So what do you think that happens when we're not mindful of what we're consuming? We're not mindful of what we're doing because we're so caught up in this world. So that's what my next point is. What holding your peace means. Holding your peace isn't just about being passive. It's not pretending everything is fine or letting people walk all over you. It's about wisdom. Wisdom, understanding. But I believe to have wisdom, you have to slow down. I believe the wisest people that I've experienced, they have this God-given gift. Like, I had to say it like that because it's like, how can you just be so present? How can you just be so in the moment? How can you be so confident? But if it's possible for them, baby, it's possible for us. It's possible for you. Okay? And I remember Mother's Day last year. A preacher's wife, her name is Holly Burdick. She preached about this message that I'm speaking to you today, like holding your peace. And what struck me is that she said sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is not respond immediately. Sometimes your silence speaks louder than words. Everything does not deserve your response or your reaction. That's a part of holding your peace. Growing in wisdom and knowledge and understanding and realizing everything doesn't deserve your fight. Everything doesn't deserve your explanation. Holding your peace means trusting, having a higher faith, than those that are, like, I say I believe and I say I believe, but it's not showing up in my faith life. It's trusting that God sees the whole picture and we only see a dot right now. He knows what's going on even when we don't. Your words can be guided by Him, and they can have power rather than regret and remorse. It's choosing clarity over chaos, faith over fear. God, I hope you're hearing me today, because I believe this is going to set somebody free. Learning how to hold your peace no matter, I don't know what you're facing right now in life. I just had to slow down for a minute, bestie. I'm almost about to cry over here. I don't know where you're at right now in this world. I don't know what you're facing, but I wholeheartedly believe that you will get through it and you will conquer and you will not be consumed. And let's be honest, holding your peace is hard. We live in a world that demands instant reactions, instant responses, instant glorification. If you don't say something that someone likes the way they want you to say it, or do what they want you to do the way they want you to do it, and you're just a little bit too human, we recognize very easily that people are not like our God. Social media is pinging all day, text messages, news alerts. I mean, come on. How could someone not feel like they're in a whirlwind if all day long they're plugged into that? When I go to the gym, y'all, it's scary sometimes. Like, I look around, or when I go, quite frankly, anywhere but maybe the grocery store, because people are actually pushing buggies and they're afraid probably to collide in each other. But then there's always still that one person that's on their phone and they almost run into you. But neither here nor there. When I'm looking around, I'm just like, wow. Like, one of my rules is when I'm at the gym, when I'm at church, I'm not on my phone. Like, if I'm recording a podcast, unless I have some notes or something, like, I'm not on my phone. Like, I don't know, y'all. I don't know. I can't really, give eye contact. I can't really just be in the present moment, because I feel like we have so much anxiety that when we pull ourselves out of ourselves, we get scared. Like, we go into shock. But that's so scary to live a life like that. So that's why I started doing things intentionally, to make myself realize this phone doesn't make me. I can survive without it. In fact, my days are better without it. If it wasn't for the content thing, like everyone else says, I wouldn't have social media at all. I really wouldn't. If I didn't believe someone somewhere way in another part of the world needed to hear my voice and see me and be encouraged and be inspired and know that someone sees you, hears you, loves you, believes in you wholeheartedly, baby. It's no faking with me. Because why wouldn't I want you to win? Like, if I'm in a position where I can put somebody on and especially set them free mentally in a world like this that is chained down in their mind, and that's a win. That's a win. But we always feel this pressure, like we have to answer everything right now. Like, I saw some people in church today, like, just texting. The pastor's up there giving his whole heart out to us, y'all. They just texting. I don't know what's going on, because I'm sure everyone's always got a rebuttal. Like, oh, well, you don't know. They could have, we've been going through this or that. But we're supposed to be in the presence of God. Like, it's not about us. Everything's not about you. You're a finite being connected to an infinite being. And you're here for a period of time. You're not here forever. One day we will pass away, my friend. And it's just like, what will you say at the end of your race of life? Like, what will, what will that be like? When you look back and regret? Or will you look back and be like, you know what? I did my daggone thing with life. It was some ups and downs, lows, highs, but I was an overcomer and I was not consumed. I conquered. Right? And, like I said, our minds can get so cluttered, though. So it's hard. It's easy, actually. Not even hard. It's easy to drift away from everything I just said that might give you a little bit of peace in this moment. But remember, we have to hold our peace, even though it's hard. you know, but our minds are so complex, thoughts about what people think, past hurts, worries about the future. And it can all drown out God's voice. It can all drown out your higher self if you allow it and you don't take time to be present. Practice some breath work. Look up, breath work. Meditate. Get alone. Slow down. Spend time off your phone throughout your day. If you're at church, turn your phone off. It's an hour. It's 2 hours maybe. If you at some other Pentecostal church, something like that, I don't know what's going on. You might be there for a long time, but be in the presence of the Lord and enjoy it. Okay? If you're going to be at the movies with your kids, be at the movies with your kids. Don't be texting that man or that woman and going off about stuff that you can just, do that later. I'm not saying do it, but if you're going to do it later and practice being in the present moment. Because that's what's going to help you be able to practice holding your peace, and eventually it won't just be a practice, it'll be a part of your life. Your peace and your priorities are directly connected, and if you don't get that aligned, how will you ever be connected to yourself or anything bigger than you? Because that's what it's really about. But that's why holding your peace is not just a nice idea. It's a spiritual discipline. It's about discipline. Motivation comes and goes. Someone encouraging you comes and goes. But the discipline in your mind to take this with you forever, to hold your peace, I hope that little voice of mine cracks into your little mind at different times. I'm not trying to say you have a little mind, but you just stay with me. I'm hoping that I don't want to make a big crack, but I'm just hoping you hear a little voice and it's like me in your head getting you going, like, hold your peace. Someone try to come at you crazy, hold your peace. You at the movies with your kids and they hold your peace. Your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother, whoever is getting at you, and you want to revert back to who you used to be, but you're not who you used to be, you're who you are now. You're a king kid. You can't act just any kind of way now. Your wife, your husband, not maybe presently, but even futurely, so you can't just act any kind of way. And this isn't easy. I understand all this is not easy. My heart rates up just thinking about it. It sounds so simple, yet so profound. But also, it takes, like I said, practice. Practice makes perfect, as they used to tell us back in the school days. So try that again in your own life as an adult and rewire some stuff and get going with the life that you want, because I believe you can obtain it. It's just a matter of you really truly believe and have faith, not only yourself, but something bigger than yourself. Because it's gonna take more than just you to be able to accomplish and live in being the person in the life that you aspire to. So you can respond in situations with wisdom and not just emotions or your feelings that are fleeting. So I want to wrap it up and leave you with some practical ways to hold your peace. Step 1, pause before you speak. I think this is something that kind of catches people off guard, especially like in counseling sessions or therapy sessions, whatever you have, is when the counselor pauses in between his responses. It reminds you to slow down, Even a few seconds of silence can make a huge difference. To take a breath, to gather your thought, to be composed. If you lose yourself not in the presence of people. I don't want to act like you can't get with certain people and lose yourself and let them know, like, oh, I'm spiraling out. But why do that? I feel like get by yourself. Like, go in your room, go in your car, wherever, go in your home, scream to the top of your lungs. No one's gonna come check on you, I promise. And just give yourself a minute to be like, you know what, life's tough, life's hard, but chin up, chest out, I'm going for it the next day. Get some rest tonight, but you back at it tomorrow, right? Those seconds, those moments, those minutes will add up and give your mind and spirit a chance to catch up with your words. Now, step 2, pray and reflect. Pray or reflect. Really, I say pray first, then reflect. But neither here nor there. Ask God for clarity before you respond. You don't have to have all the answers right away. Even a short prayer, like, Lord, help me speak the right words. Can you shift my perspective? Can you help my heart posture change? You know, it's all about perspective. All about perspective. And prayer helps you get back connected again to someone, something higher than yourself. So step 3, set boundaries. Set boundaries! I'm sorry. Okay, my bad, y'all. That was like my my other personality or something. I'm sorry. Set boundaries, please. Set boundaries. Because I'm a person that is so forgiving to the point I always let people back in. And I realize that even though you forgive, you don't have to let someone back into your life. Just because you forgive them, they don't always deserve access back into your life. And not only that, some people you just outgrow, baby. I wanna really hold your hands, both of them right now. Let those people go that aren't holding on to you. If someone's not even extending a hand to hold on to you, stop it. Because I was that person that was always extending and overextending and just before you know it, now they know I'm double jointed. As in, like, that's how much I'm just flexing and just like not even flexing like that, but just like I'm extending my arms, I'm extending my legs, I'm doing everything to try to reach and hold this person together and help them and build them up. But it's not just about what I'm getting out of it, but it's not building me up. You see, I'm not just a person that like, oh, what I'm getting out of this. No, but are you building me up? Am I building you up? Or is it more of like, we're not going nowhere type of situation? Okay, you're an acquaintance. I used to know you. We maybe used to be friends, but that's not that anymore. Respectfully. So set boundaries. Sometimes the healthiest thing you can do is walk away from a conversation, a person, a social media thread, or a situation that will make you respond in anger or fear or doubt. Protect your peace. Going back to holding your peace. Now, step 4, remember the impact of your silence. Oh my gosh, y'all. This is something I'm actually going to admit to you right now. Come here. I used to struggle with this so bad. And I still catch myself sometimes doing this. Like, I will want to respond. I will be like, you know what? I can't just be quiet. I can't just not say nothing. But sometimes the enemy wants to just get a reaction out of you. Like, some people just, I don't know how to say this. Like, I don't want to say that. But y'all probably know what I want to say. Like, some people just like get a jazz off of you basically like being in distress. Some people like to hear you constantly in chaos and discomfort and unease and anxiety and cloudy. Like some people actually, I'm sorry, and sometimes the people closest to us. So that's why I said it goes back to that step 3. Set boundaries. Cut some fine lines in between these people that just keep trying to play tic-tac-toe with you. Don't know which side they want to pick. They don't know if they for you or against you. They don't know if they like you, they dislike you, but something about you that they want to keep around. Stop it. Remember the power of your silence. Silence can be more powerful than words, is what I'm understanding and realizing in my life now. It can show strength. It can prevent unnecessary conflict. Now, this is when you're not a person that's like trying to gaslight or manipulate somebody. There are people out there that will literally not respond to you because they know that you have like a certain type of attachment style, and you're going to go bonkers because they don't respond. I've been in those situations with friends, with men, where they just know like, oh, Z's attached to me. She's going to lose it if I don't respond. And I don't always mean like I'm going to lose it as far as like texting big paragraphs or anything like that. It's just like, oh, I'm going to hit them up like, oh, did I do something wrong? Did I say something wrong? But it has nothing to do with you. Like when someone goes silent on you, don't make that about you. Make that about them and let it go. And sometimes, like I said, when you're a healthy person, you're working on your stuff, you're facing your stuff, I don't believe that being silent in some situations is a negative outlook on you. It can prevent unnecessary conflict, and it can give you the mental and spiritual clarity to act wisely at a later time. Not right now. Sometimes you need to tell people like, I'm sorry, but not right now. I need a moment to gather my thoughts. to hold my peace, and I'll contact you at a later time. Now, if you live with this person, whatever, if you know your close friend, talk to them later, hang up the phone, leave the house for a little bit, just ground yourself, go for a walk, go for a run, go to the gym, do something productive, and just clear your mind, get back centered. Practice the breath work. Like I mentioned to you earlier, that's a great thing to carry from this podcast is breath work, meditation, prayer. Holding your peace doesn't mean you don't care either. Being silent doesn't mean you don't care. It just means you're not about to give your energy to that. And it doesn't mean that you will let injustice go unnoticed. There are times where you will know when to speak up. And there's times where you know to fight your battles differently and just relax and allow God to speak for you. Allow your actions, your life to speak for you. That's enough. You're enough. Just be. It means that you trust. You trust your response. You value wisdom over reaction. And I want to also just this is a side note. This podcast is really long, but this is a side note. Stop confusing love with attachment. I just had to mention that because I know I said something about attachment earlier. Stop. My mom brought this to my attention the other day, actually. So I was like, oh, I really love them. And she was like, you didn't love them, Zalika. You were attached to them. And I think I was actually talking about like a place or something. I was like, I love that place. And she was like, you're not. You don't. You don't love that place because you were just attached to that place. You're used to that place. You're comfortable with that place. But it's time to break out of all that. So I'm wrapping it up. I'm closing. Thank you for staying with me if you're still here. I know this is probably the longest episode I've made so far, but I just had to get this out. So if you take one thing from this episode, let it be holding your peace is your strength. It's faith in action. It's not cheap. It's costly. And today, I want to challenge you. Before you react, before you post, before you speak in a heated moment, pause. Just pause. Give yourself, 15 minutes. Take a long pause. Hold your peace. And see what God wants to show you in that quiet, still moment. Not with yourself, not with the world, but higher. That's what you want. Higher thoughts, not low thoughts. Because just like an eagle, have you ever seen an eagle fighting with a crow? No. Because an eagle just soars higher and higher and higher to reach an altitude where that little peon bird just falls off because he can't breathe so high up. I want you to be that eagle. Because when you do that, you become more intentional. Your responses become guided. You flow from love, a place of love and not resentment or hatred like so many people, and anger and animosity towards people that they don't even know. Your life becomes a little less chaotic and disruptive and dysfunctional. It becomes a little less, all of that, and a bit more peaceful and a lot more aligned with God's will and your higher self wants for you. So I just want to close saying I thank you. I'm grateful for you. I see you. Thank you so much for listening to today's podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you took away some key things with you today. It's in my heart that I leave this with you. And I hope that this episode inspires you. I hope that this episode inspires you to practice holding your peace in your daily life. This is Big COZ, and I can't wait to share the next conversation with you. Stay encouraged, have faith, believe in yourself, stay patient, and keep holding your peace. Until next time, Big COZ, thank you so much.